Hello, my name's Kevin, and welcome to Kev's Vibe of the Day, where I pull a card from Kyle Gray's Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck and then bring in my message for the day and how that plays out. So let's get right to the card. Here we go. This morning's card is just quite lovely. So the she wolf, and the message with it is unleash the wild within. So, well, what exactly does that mean? For me, this shows up as a card that represents each side of us that wants to be seen and heard, expressed, and seen, heard, and expressed. There is a side of all of us that tends to put on airs and graces and masks and costumes depending on who it is we are in front of. Like, you go for an interview, you're wearing a nice outfit and you're presenting yourself well, and perhaps you turn up a little earlier, and there's all that stuff, right? So that's one way of looking at it, changing the way we are, way we present ourselves depending on who we're talking to. But this is actually the she wolf shows up today in this message to tell you that your life is ongoing, that the life that your inner beast, your inner wolf, your inner wild side is showing up. Oftentimes, and this is where the message comes in, we are filtering how we're expressing ourselves for fear that other people want what we have and try to hunt us down for it. Fear that we can't be a certain way, that's been my truth, in front of certain people because it won't be accepted quite as well or as widely accepted. Now we find ourselves in a culture where everybody's showing their wild side and being quite volatile, or at least vocal about it. Now, the she wolf, let's get clear, isn't talking about you being unkind and rude, demonstrative, and just vulgar in front of other people, unless your wild side has a little bit of vulgarity. And I think sometimes vulgarity isn't such a bad thing. It is a little bit like when you drop the F bomb in a conversation. I've sat in front of many public speakers and they have literally in the middle of a sentence dropped the F bomb, and it wakes people up to, oh, hang on 1 second, out of context. That's a little bit of invoking the wild side. This is letting that she wolf energy, that, the picture here is part wolf, part woman. I am woman, hear me roar if you are a female. And even if you're a man, really, seriously, come on out, do your thing. I feel like in the last little while, let's get on the camera here. There we go. I feel like for the last little while, we've been hemmed in, penned in to all of this political, cultural stuff. And the polarizing opinions. That's it. Polarizing opinions. And at some point, the wild side of me, while I'm doing my work, wants to come out and roar, and does, and gets quite definite about it. How I feel. The one filter I would urge us all to utilize is intention. I think we should express ourselves fully like banshees that we are. And if that means running out and getting yourself a kettle drum, or going and finding a Native American Navajo hand drum, or doing something that really lights up your spirit, you might want to get into this kind of thing. I mean, I think that there's nothing wrong with saying, I want to experience what a singing bowl does, and sit and sort of work with a singing bowl if that's whoops, hang on, there you go. There. if that's in your thing to do. Um, what I've learned in the last little while is that we have to express ourselves without being fearful of being judged. And that's really and truly the crux of the matter, is that we have this fear that someone's not going to like what we have to say. Someone's not going to like how we behave. Case in point, you have young people between the ages of 13 and 19. That is quite a ratchet era in everybody's life. And for anyone to understand, I don't know what it's like to be a parent of a teenager. That to me is oof, quite tough. It's tough. Tough, tough, tough. And I'm not going to presume to know what that feels like. However, I am quickly, and I'm getting goosebumps, quickly reminded of how I was at that age. And I can say without a shadow of a doubt, there was some behavior that I exhibited that I'm not ashamed of now, but they certainly pushed boundaries. This is what the she wolf is saying. If you're coming up on a boundary that you've placed in your life due to the fact that you feel limited or you feel somebody else is limiting you, this is your chance to shine and break out from it. That angels, spirits, guardians, ascended masters, it isn't, some might see it as bad behavior. Some might see it as being rebellious. Some might see it as being demonstrative. Some might see it as being egotistical. And here's where it gets to be a little tiny bit tough. If your behavior and you're speaking out and you're being rebellious and you're being that true on, full on self, you might offend people. Yet, but the offense is on them. And I would likely say those you believe are limiting you because you're fearful of, and I'm getting a message. Okay, I'm getting, okay, he wants to come and talk. All right, hang on. That's the Alchemist has a message today, so he's going to come and talk to you about that. I've got it. I understand it. He's right here. I love this person. He's not really a man, um, just that masculine energy. All right, there. Let your she wolf out. Let your creative side be seen. Let your unleash this beautiful part of your spirit that's creative, that is all expressive, and just go for it. And make sure the intention is to grow. The intention is to express. The intention is to be a little on the wild side, whatever that looks like. Um, while I get ready to bring in the alchemist, are you? Is that yes? That's what he's. Uh, I want you to place your feet flat on the floor, bring your palms up, open your chest wide, take whatever stretches you want, and I'll be right back, or he will be. Good morning, my dear ones. Good morning, good morning. It is a pleasure to come and speak with you today about this subject. Ooh. And I am just so delighted that we get to have these communications. It is getting much, much more easier for us to communicate to you through this Master Kevin, who is doing quite a lovely job all by himself. However, as we are teaching you, we are also teaching him. And the lesson is there are only so many ways with which you say something. And oftentimes, when the human in you in human form, in the right now and the right here, wake to your non physical way, your spirit form, the form that you are outside of your body, when you wake up to the enormousness of that, the greatness of it, the other side of it, there is this wild excitement. And as you exercise those skills and find more and more manifestation of this, of the truth that is you, of the truth that you speak, there is a wildness that awakens. So what I've come to tell you is this: all of you on the planet are navigating so very, very well this slalom course, obstacle course of emotions, physical distress and physical express. And some of you quite delightfully, and we are so very proud, joyful, have lifted above the fray of fractious energy. It is, and we understand it, incredibly difficult to be among those whose ascension skills are lost, blinded. Understand this: there are those who are under a cloud of their own making, a cloud of distrust, a cloud of suspicion, a cloud of frustration. What their world looked like, was like, had been like, in their limiting beliefs, were keeping them in a place that they felt safe. And in that safety, the ego is going to defend that cavern, cloud, place, consciousness. And it is up to the person, the spirit that is inside a physical body, to acknowledge the awakening process. And it is that choice of the spirits contained within physical form to wake up. Now we come to, how does this affect you? And how is this got anything to do with you? My point is, it doesn't, and doesn't have to. But I'm so encouraged by the card that came, the she-wolf energy, because, my darling friends, as you accept more and more of the light that's connected inside your heart, that place of unconditional love, unconditional joy, unconditional peace, unconditional manifestation, all of it. It is so vast, so big, so expansive. It is very difficult to actually verbalize and put into words to say. The Master Kevin has had glimpses of this in the dreams, in the travelling. We have delightfully opened up his world to the star people, of which he is part of it. And now, in his understanding that stars, which all of you were at one point part of this existence of stars, shine brightest when the sky is at the darkest. The physical stars out there in the galaxy are millions of miles apart. The space and expansion that is beyond where you are is too big for any of you to accurately comprehend without understanding a little of the vibrational ways it works. So you see, it is a bit like, how do you fit a cannonball into a golf hole? It's not possible. The expansion, collective planetary expansion, includes the planet Earth. But the planet Earth, Mars, the Moon, the Sun, Saturn with the wonderful rings, Jupiter, Pluto, and there are many more undiscoverable planets, are moving, shifting, shaping, and changing constantly. This is the first time in hundreds of years that this part, the part that you are in, has shifted and transmuted into a new position, which is why, my darlings, there are many physical or many souls anchored in the physical that are either lifting, awakening, opening, transitioning, transforming, transmuting, as you are, in this lovely form of beauty. And there are those who are in the middle levels, the level of, ooh, something's difficult, I can't, and then they're understanding this feels good, this does, this, the waking up to what they love, what they like, and what they don't love, what they don't like, and the confusion. Confusion creates the chaos, and the chaos creates the mind mess. And the mind mess are the thoughts that run off to the fears, and the fears that keep it trapped, and the ego keeps it going. So how does this affect you? As you lighten, as you brighten, as you embrace the loving energy that you are, and you are, as you wake up to all of the brilliance that you can become and be, that you can manifest, and you will, others will start to notice the she-wolf in this instance that is emerging. And your perception, your limiting perception, let me say that. The limiting perception is, oh my goodness, I don't know what they're going to think. It doesn't matter. You have to be you, and sometimes being you might be a little wild. Remind yourself of the times where you may have giggled at places that were inappropriate. You may have had a bodily function, I think you call it burping, that was spontaneous and not necessarily planned, and oops a daisy, excuse me, but it causes a giggle. I'm not saying that you need to be walking in public behaving in such a manner, no. What I'm saying is that there are times where your spirit, your little self expresses itself, decides to go off and learn a lesson in something that's quite different, chooses to go and buy an outfit that might be a little more extravagant than you would normally allow yourself to buy. These things, letting it out, allowing yourself to express yourself and knowing the universe supports it. The young Master Kevin this week has had a few people show up and want something completely different with their image, their hair. And in order for them to accept who they're going to be with this new image that he creates for them, he steps out of the comfort zone and moves into creativity, leaving aside the feeling that this person may feel a little unnerved by the change, may not even recognize themselves. And yet, the masterpiece gets presented. It looks quite extraordinary. It's quite lovely. And so all parties have something exceptional to celebrate. This is what we say. The last part of this before I let you go. Reminding yourself that you have an inner being. The inner being that you are inside. Your spirit guide is inside. The source energy is part of. God is part of. The inner being is the all-seeing, all-feeling, all-powerful part of your physical form. The inner being connected to the light, to the eternal, to the ethereal, to the spirit, to the Mother Earth, to the Father Sky, to all of the chakra wheels, energy centers, all the way through to the great wisdom of source energy for which you are source energy. The inner being connects to the spirit realm, us. And as an alchemist, we need for you to present to us your vision for growth and expansion, and then for you to trust in us through the portals of your inner being, thoughts, feelings, meditations, ideas, vibrations, to do the work of creating it. This works together. It isn't that the alchemist, me, my friends and I on the side, are at a workshop making all these things happen for you. However, when we get the vibrational sense that this is for your highest good, and you are claiming it as your worth, and you are matching the feeling of it by the vibrational way it is, that creates the same vibration within us and allows the energy to line up and bring it to you. Some things you do with your inner being unconsciously, not realizing you're doing it, and you're doing it, and here it comes. This also includes the not so great things, the tough things you say to yourself. I won't go too deeply into that. That's more in the realm of attracting what we vibrate to. Now, the inner being, the connected part, the connected spirit to your physical world. And then there is the outer being, what you show. And you see the difference is you. You are choosing what you show. You are choosing what others see. You are choosing what others hear. You are choosing what you wish to present to the world. This is your outer being. Part of the gift you got when you came was the gift of choosing how your outer being is expressed. And you now know that when folks wish their life to be different, or themselves to be different to what they are being, meaning the inner being doesn't match the outer being, other inner beings recognize a little shift, a little offness. The two don't match. The two aren't lined up. The two are not aligned. And then they feel like, well, perhaps I should behave more like this. So other outer beings mimic, copy. Because for a little while the outer being will win, the choice will happen. But you see, something greater occurs when the inner being and the outer being are aligned in harmony, and the inner being is quite comfortable with the joy and the love and the fun and the delightful way that life is just showing up. This is a beacon, powerful beacon, that everything comes quite miraculously, that those folks are experiencing their blessings in such a joyful way and others see it. There goes the beacon. And there flocks the people. So the she-wolf in this particular message, unleash that part of your inner being and allow it to be shown on the outside. So the outer being lines up with the inner being. It's a difference between creating something that you are not and revealing something that you are. We are telling you to reveal who you truly are. Claim it. Stand by it. Open up to it. And encourage others to, by sharing your story without fear, without judgment, because the universe is now saying, now is the time for you to shine. I love you so much, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. And now I bid you farewell until the next time. Bring your hands to prayer at heart center. Ground your feet on the floor. Take a few moments to acknowledge your guardian angels. Thank your angels, ascended masters, spirit guides that are around you, that are encouraging you, that are lifting your hearts up. And then make your proclamations. Today I proclaim that I am, and fill in the blank. I am love. Today I proclaim I am joy. Today I proclaim that this is a new day. I am going to experience new experiences. Then lift your thumb knuckles to your third eye center, and together we bow and say namaste. The light and the love, the joy and the peace in me honors all that in you. Thank you, my friends. Until next time, you have a great weekend. I love you. Bye.